The garden was perfect. Strings of white lights hung from the trees, flowers bloomed in every color, and the soft sound of a violin played in the background. Olivia stood at the end of the aisle, her heart pounding as she held her bouquet. She looked ahead and saw Marcus, smiling nervously in his navy blue suit. This was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Her dress fit like a dream. Her friends had told her she looked like a princess. But as she took a step forward, her fingers tightened around the bouquet. Something fell off, just a little. A strange coldness in her chest. She tried to shake it off. This was her wedding day. After everything she had been through, she was finally here. As she reached the altar and stood beside Marcus, the priest asked everyone to bow their heads for a moment of prayer before the vows. Olivia closed her eyes. That's when she heard it. A sharp whisper. Too close. Too clear. You still have time to back out, the voice said. She's a mistake. Just like her mother. It was Eleanor, Marcus's mother, her soon-to-be mother-in-law. Olivia's eyes flew open. Her throat tightened. She glanced sideways. Eleanor stood just behind Marcus, pretending to be calm and collected. But her words still echoed in Olivia's head. She's a mistake. Just like her mother. Olivia felt like the ground had shifted under her feet. Her vision blurred for a second. The joy she had felt only moments ago drained from her face. She didn't move. She didn't speak. Marcus didn't hear the whisper. No one else seemed to notice. The priest opened his eyes and smiled. If anyone has any reason why these two should not be joined in marriage, he said slowly, speak now. He paused. A strange look crossed his face. Or forever hold your peace. But instead of continuing, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a sealed envelope. This arrived for the couple earlier this week, he said. It was marked, to be read aloud at the ceremony. He looked at Marcus and Olivia. Do you want me to continue? Marcus nodded. Olivia, still frozen, barely moved her head. The priest opened the envelope carefully and unfolded the letter inside. As he began to read, everyone in the crowd leaned in, curious. No one knew what was coming, not even Olivia. But what the letter revealed would stop the wedding cold and change everything Olivia thought she knew about herself, Marcus, and the woman who had just called her a mistake. Olivia had never known what it felt like to have a real family. Her earliest memories were of loud arguments, a dark apartment, and her mother crying alone in the kitchen. When Olivia was 9, her mother died from a drug overdose. After that, Olivia was taken into foster care. She moved from one house to another, never staying long enough to unpack her things properly. No one ever adopted her. Even with all the pain and loneliness, Olivia was strong. She studied hard, stayed out of trouble, and dreamed of becoming a nurse. When she was 16, she met Marie, a foster mother who truly cared. Marie didn't have much money, but she had a big heart. She gave Olivia a small room, a warm bed, and something Olivia had never felt before, safety. By the time Olivia turned 18, she had earned a scholarship to nursing school. She worked part-time and studied late into the night. Life wasn't easy, but for the first time, she felt like she was building something of her own. That's when she met Marcus. They were both volunteering at a hospital fundraiser. Marcus was tall, smart, charming. He made her laugh. He saw her in a way no one else ever had. Not as a charity case, not as someone broken, but as someone valuable. They talked for hours that night. 2 weeks later, they were dating. Marcus came from a very different world. His family was well-known and wealthy. His father was a retired judge, and his mother, Eleanor, ran several charity boards. They lived in a large house in the suburbs, where everything was perfectly placed and silent like a museum. The first time Olivia met Eleanor, she felt small. Eleanor smiled, but her eyes didn't. She asked polite questions, but there was a coldness underneath. Olivia could feel it. Eleanor never said anything cruel out loud, but her silence said enough. She never looked directly at Olivia when talking. She never asked about Olivia's family or past. She made it clear, without saying a word, that Olivia didn't belong. Marcus always told Olivia not to worry. He said his mom just needed time. He said Eleanor had high standards, but she would come around. She just doesn't know you yet, he would say. Once she does, she'll love you. So Olivia tried. She dressed carefully whenever she visited. She brought flowers. She offered to help clean up after dinner. She smiled through awkward silences. Every time she thought things were getting better, Eleanor would do something to remind her where she stood, like changing the seating at a family dinner to keep Olivia away from the main table, or asking if Olivia needed help finding a job, even though she was already a full-time nurse. Still, Olivia believed in love. She believed people could change. Marcus had proposed on their 3rd anniversary. It was simple and sweet, just the two of them at their favorite lake. He got down on one knee and told her, "I want a life with you. All of it, the hard and the good." Olivia had cried and said yes. She hoped that this wedding would be the fresh start. She thought, maybe once they were married, Eleanor would finally accept her. Maybe being part of the family would be different once it was official. Jasmine, Olivia's best friend since nursing school, wasn't so sure. I don't trust people who smile with their mouths but not their eyes, Jasmine had warned her. Love shouldn't feel like you're on trial all the time. But Olivia wanted to believe. She had come too far, fought through too much, to let fear ruin her happiness. In the days before the wedding, things actually seemed to get better. Eleanor was helping with the final plan. She even invited Olivia to lunch one afternoon. They sat outside at a fancy cafe, and Eleanor talked about flower choices, seating charts, and music. Olivia had left feeling hopeful. Maybe she had been wrong. But now, standing at the altar, hearing those cruel whispered words, Olivia knew the truth. Eleanor had never changed. All along, she had been pretending, smiling in front of people, playing nice for appearances, but still believing that Olivia wasn't good enough. And now, on what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, Olivia realized she had been trying to earn love from someone who had already decided she didn't deserve it. The pain was sharp, the betrayal was deep, and as the priest read the letter that would change everything, Olivia stood completely still, wondering how much more she didn't know. The priest unfolded the letter slowly, looking at Marcus and Olivia one more time. His voice was calm but serious. This letter was sent by someone named Henry Blake, he began. He asked that it be read out loud during the wedding ceremony, in front of everyone. Olivia felt her stomach twist. She had never heard that name before. She looked at Marcus, who also looked confused. His eyebrows were pulled together, and he was shaking his head slightly, like he didn't understand either. The priest took a breath and started reading. To Marcus and Olivia, if you are hearing this, it means the truth can no longer stay hidden. I know this is not the best time to say what I have to say, but I believe it is the only time it will truly matter. My name is Henry Blake. I am writing to tell you something that has been kept secret for too long. Marcus, I am your biological father. A wave of gasps moved through the crowd. People turned and looked at each other in shock. Olivia's mouth dropped open. She stared at Marcus. He looked pale, like all the blood had drained from his face. The priest continued reading, now even more carefully. Many years ago, Eleanor and I had an affair. She was married at the time. When she became pregnant, she told me the child was not mine. I believed her. But recently, I found out the truth. I did a DNA test. Marcus, you are my son. Eleanor's face turned stiff. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She didn't say a word. She looked straight ahead, as if nothing was happening. The priest paused, looked around, and then continued. There's more. Olivia, I know you grew up without your parents. Your mother, Lillian, was my younger sister. We lost touch many years ago after a painful argument. I didn't know she had a daughter until recently, when I saw your photo in the newspaper announcement for the wedding. I did another DNA test, this time with something I found from your mother's belongings. Olivia, you are my niece. My sister's only child. Olivia felt the room tilt. She tried to take a breath, but her chest felt tight. Her hands trembled. She looked at Marcus again. He looked as shocked as she was. The priest read the final part. You are not blood related to each other, but I thought you both deserved to know the truth before beginning your life together. I kept quiet for too long. I hope you find peace, whatever you decide. The priest folded the letter and stepped back. Silence filled the garden. Marcus turned to his mother. Is this true? He asked, his voice shaky. Eleanor didn't answer. Is it true? He asked again, louder this time. She finally nodded, just once. Yes. A murmur spread through the guests. Marcus took a step back. Olivia didn't move. She was frozen. She had walked into the day hoping for a new beginning. Instead, she had found out that the woman who hated her for her past was the one hiding the biggest secret of all. Olivia thought of her mother, how hard her life had been, how alone she must have felt. She had never even known she had an uncle. And now, on her wedding day, she was learning all of it at once, in front of everyone. Her heart broke, not just from the secret, but from the cruelty of the timing. Without a word, Olivia turned and walked away from the altar. Her legs felt heavy, but she didn't stop. She walked past the guests, past the flowers, and out of the garden. Behind her, Marcus called her name, but she didn't turn around. Olivia sat alone on the edge of her bed, still in her wedding dress. The lace sleeves now felt too tight, the soft fabric heavy on her body. Her veil lay in a crumpled pile on the floor. The house was quiet. Jasmine had brought her home after she walked out of the wedding. She didn't say much, just held Olivia's hand and stayed close until she fell asleep for a few hours. Now it was evening. The sun was going down, but Olivia hadn't moved. Her phone had over 50 missed calls. Most were from Marcus, some from unknown numbers. She ignored them all. Everything felt unreal. Just that morning, she had looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "You made it." She had survived a hard childhood, built a life, found love, and now it all felt like a lie. The woman who hated her most had been hiding the truth all along. Eleanor knew. She knew Marcus wasn't her husband's son. She knew Olivia was Henry's niece. And yet, She still called her a mistake, still treated her like dirt. Olivia wanted to scream. The doorbell rang. Olivia didn't move. A few seconds later, she heard Jasmine's voice. "It's him," Jasmine said gently, stepping into the room. "He's asking to see you." Olivia shook her head. "Liv, at least talk to him." Olivia finally stood up, took a deep breath, and walked to the living room. Marcus was standing there, still in his suit, jacket off, tie loose. His eyes were red, his hair messy. He looked like he hadn't stopped crying since the wedding. "I didn't know," he said softly, the moment their eyes met. "I swear to you, Olivia, I had no idea." Olivia didn't speak right away. She just looked at him, searching for something. Truth, regret, love, maybe all of it. "Your mother knew," she said, her voice calm but cold. "I know." I confronted her. "What did she say?" "She said she was protecting me," Marcus replied bitterly. "But I think she was really protecting herself. Her image. Her lie." Olivia crossed her arms. "And what about us? What were we, Marcus? Something to control? A project to fix?" Marcus stepped closer. "No. Liv, you were never that. I love you. That hasn't changed. But everything else has," Olivia said quietly. "How can we move forward when we don't even know who we are anymore?" Marcus looked down. He had no answer. Over the next few days, Olivia stayed with Jasmine. She didn't return to work. She didn't return any calls. She needed time. She visited Marie, her foster mother, who welcomed her with open arms and warm tea. "You are not the sum of other people's lies," Marie said gently. "You're strong, baby. You've always been. Don't let them pull you back into the dark." "I feel like a stranger in my own life," Olivia whispered. "You've always built your life with truth. That hasn't changed." Olivia nodded, but her heart was still heavy. Meanwhile, Marcus was falling apart. He confronted Eleanor again. This time, he wasn't calm. "How could you?" he shouted in her grand living room. Eleanor sat silently, her eyes filled with tears. "You were my son. I didn't want to lose you. You lost me the moment you lied. I thought I was doing what was best for our family. Your father didn't know. He died thinking you were his. I didn't want to destroy everything." Marcus laughed bitterly. "You didn't care about destroying Olivia." Eleanor looked away. "She reminded me too much of her mother." "You mean the woman you abandoned? The woman you left to suffer while you built this fake perfect life?" Eleanor's eyes welled with tears, but Marcus didn't care anymore. He walked out. He called Olivia again. This time, she answered. "I need to tell you what she said," he told her. "And I need to know if there's any chance we can come back from that." Olivia agreed to meet him in the park where they first kissed. It was quiet, the air fresh with early fall wind. They sat on a bench. Olivia listened as Marcus told her everything, his fight with Eleanor, the things she admitted, the truth about her and Olivia's mother. "She was your mother's best friend," Marcus said. "They were close until your mom got pregnant. Eleanor turned her back on her. So she hated me for something she did to my mother?" Olivia said, her voice shaking. "All this time, it wasn't about me. It was her guilt." Marcus nodded. "She took it out on you because she couldn't face herself." Olivia sat still. The wind brushed against her cheek. "You know what hurts the most?" she said softly. "I believed if I worked hard enough, I could earn her love. I thought maybe one day, I'd be part of a family. But I was chasing something that never existed." Marcus reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. "You are my family," he said. "I need time," Olivia said gently. "I need to rebuild. Not just with you, but with myself." Marcus nodded. "I'll wait, as long as it takes." Over the next weeks, Olivia started digging into her mother's past. She reached out to Henry Blake. They met at a quiet diner. He was older now, with kind eyes and a deep sadness in his voice. "I failed your mother," he said. "I didn't know she had a child. I should have been there." Olivia looked at him. "I don't know what to do with all this." "Start with what feels right," he said. "You've already survived the hardest parts. Now it's about choosing who you want to be." Olivia didn't forgive Eleanor, but she began to understand her. Pain had turned her into someone cold, someone afraid. But Olivia wouldn't be like that. She would face her pain. She would speak her truth. The past was ugly, but the future? That was still hers to write. It was a rainy Saturday afternoon when Eleanor showed up at Olivia's door. She wasn't dressed like her usual self. No pearls. No polished hair. No perfect smile. She looked older. Tired. Her coat was soaked from the rain, and her hands were shaking as she clutched her purse. Olivia stood in the doorway, silent, unsure what to say. "I'm not here to cause trouble," Eleanor said. I need 5 minutes." Olivia didn't speak, but she stepped aside. Eleanor walked in slowly, looking around the small living room. It was simple but warm, very different from her own cold, perfect house. "Would you like some tea?" Olivia asked, her voice flat. Eleanor shook her head. "No, I won't stay long." They sat across from each other. The silence was thick. "I know I've done unforgivable things," Eleanor started, "and I don't expect you to forgive me. But I came here to tell you something I should have said a long time ago." Olivia crossed her arms. I'm listening. Eleanor took a deep breath. Your mother, Lillian, she wasn't just a friend. She was my best friend. We grew up together. We were like sisters. She paused as if the memories hurt. But when she got pregnant with you, everything changed. She told me who the father was. And I panicked. Because I had just started seeing Henry too. Olivia stared at her. Her heart thudded in her chest. I told Henry the baby wasn't his. I told Lillian she had ruined her life. I turned my back on her. And when she needed help, I wasn't there. I chose my image, my comfort, my lies. Eleanor's voice cracked. She was shaking now. When I found out you were her daughter, I felt something I didn't understand at first. It was fear, guilt, shame. You looked like her. You had her eyes, her voice, her strength. And I hated you for it. Olivia's eyes burned, but she didn't cry. So instead of facing your guilt, you punished me, she said softly. Eleanor nodded. Yes, I did. I tried to control everything, to hide the truth. I thought if I could keep you away from Marcus, I could bury my past. But the past has a way of coming back. You let me think I wasn't good enough, Olivia said, her voice rising. You made me feel small in every room. Like I had to earn your respect, your love. But I never had a chance, did I? No, Eleanor whispered. And I'm sorry. I'm so deeply sorry. Olivia stood up and walked to the window. Rain slid down the glass in thin streams. She crossed her arms and took a shaky breath. You know what hurts the most? She asked, not looking back. You made me doubt myself. And I believed you. I spent years trying to prove I belonged. And all along, I was never the problem. Eleanor lowered her head. I know, she said. You are not the mistake, Olivia. I was. A long silence passed. Then Olivia turned. Her voice was calm but strong. I don't hate you, Eleanor, but I don't feel sorry for you either. You hurt too many people. And now you have to live with that. Eleanor stood slowly. I do. Every day. She walked to the door and paused. For what it's worth, I'm glad he chose you. Marcus, you were always the right choice. Without waiting for a response, she left, disappearing into the rain. Later that evening, Marcus came over. Olivia opened the door before he could knock. He looked surprised. You okay? He asked. She came by, Olivia said. Marcus stepped inside, drying off his jacket. What did she say? Everything, Olivia said. She finally told the truth. They sat down. Olivia looked at him for a long time. You stood by me, she said. Even when things got ugly. Even when your whole world flipped upside down. I love you, Marcus said. That part never changed. She smiled faintly. You still have that ring? He blinked, surprised. Yeah, of course. Then ask me again, Olivia said softly. But this time, just us. No guests. No secrets. No lies. Marcus's eyes lit up. He pulled the small ring from his pocket, still in its velvet box. He knelt on one knee in the quiet room, the rain still falling softly outside. Olivia Grace Miller, he said. Will you marry me? She laughed through tears. Yes, I will. They hugged, holding each other tightly. This time, the tears were from relief, from love, from truth. No more pretending. This was real, and it was just the beginning. 2 months later, Olivia stood in front of a small crowd at the courthouse. She wore a simple white dress, short and elegant. Marcus stood beside her, holding her hand. There were no flowers, no fancy decorations, no long speeches, just love, honesty, and peace. Jasmine was there as her maid of honor, smiling proudly. Marie sat in the front row with happy tears in her eyes. Henry Blake, now slowly becoming part of Olivia's life, stood near the back, quietly supporting her. Eleanor was not there, and Olivia was fine with that. This wedding was different. It was calm. It was quiet. It felt like a breath of fresh air. After the short ceremony, Olivia and Marcus walked outside, where the afternoon sun warmed their faces. They laughed as they stepped onto the sidewalk, newly married, not because of pressure or expectation, but because they truly chose each other. That evening, they celebrated with a small dinner at Marie's house. Nothing fancy, just good food and warm hugs. It was the kind of family Olivia had always wanted, not perfect but real. In the weeks that followed, Olivia felt stronger than ever. She returned to work at the hospital, and her patients welcomed her back with smiles. Some co-workers asked how the wedding went, and she simply said, "It was perfect," and meant it. She also started something new, something close to her heart. With support from Marcus and Henry, Olivia launched a small foundation that helped young adults who had grown up in foster care. The foundation focused on helping them find their roots, through DNA tests, old records, and even connecting with lost family members. She named it Lillian's Light, in honor of her mother. Each time she helped someone discover a piece of their past, she felt a part of herself healing, too. Marcus, inspired by Olivia's courage, decided to leave his corporate job and open a free health clinic in their neighborhood. He wanted to give back, just like Olivia had always done. Their home wasn't big, but it was filled with laughter, love, and quiet understanding. They made time for long talks, for forgiveness, for late-night dinners on the couch. They had learned how to fight for each other, not against each other. Eleanor had moved to another city. She sent letters every few weeks, never asking for anything, just sharing her thoughts. Sometimes Olivia read them, sometimes she didn't, but she no longer felt bitterness. She had let it go. One morning, Olivia sat on the porch, sipping her tea as the sun rose. Marcus came out and kissed her forehead. "You look peaceful," he said. "I am," she replied. She looked around, at the blooming plants she'd grown with her own hands, at the small stack of books beside her, and at the life she had built from the ground up. She had come from nothing, from pain, from silence. But now her voice was clear. Her story was hers, and she had written the ending her way. A year later, Olivia stood in front of her mother's grave. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a soft golden light over the quiet cemetery. In her hands, she held a small bouquet of fresh lilies, her mother's favorite flower. For years, the grave had no headstone, just a number on a metal plate. But today, that had changed. A new stone now stood tall, simple and beautiful. It read, "Lillian Marie Blake, beloved mother, brave soul, never forgotten." Olivia knelt and placed the flowers gently at the base. "Hi, Mom," she whispered. "It took me a long time to find you, but I'm here now." Her voice cracked, but she kept going. "I used to wonder why you left me, why everything happened the way it did. But now I understand. Life was hard for you, and you did the best you could." She paused, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I got married. Not the big wedding I planned, but the right one. I married a man who loves me, not for what I have or where I come from, but for who I am. We're building something real together." She took a deep breath. "And I started something in your name, a way to help kids like me, so they don't feel as lost as I did. I want them to know they matter, even if the world tells them otherwise." The wind gently moved through the trees above. Olivia smiled. "You were never a mistake," she said quietly, "and neither was I." She stood up slowly, brushed off her dress, and gave the stone one last look. "I hope you're proud of me." As she walked away, Marcus stood waiting by the gate. He held out his hand. Without a word, Olivia took it. Together, they walked into the morning light, stronger, wiser, and finally free. Hey besties! Thanks so much for watching till the end. If you loved Olivia's story of truth, betrayal, and healing, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. See you in the next one. Her friends invited everyone except her to their girls' trip, so she booked one seat beside. Bye for now.